Are we? There we
All
go.
right,
All
we
right.
got it.
Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to JoJoSpeaks, my channel. Thank y'all so much for being here. I know that I announced last week that I would not be making any content this week, but Jennifer thankfully gave me a crash course on how to use StreamYard, which is the program that we use to do our lives. So yes, I will be doing my live for 90 Day Fiance. This is season 1, episode 12 of 90
12
Day Hunt for
for
Love.
Lou. Mm-hmm.
Yes. A couple things I want you guys to do before we get started. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Press that big red subscribe button. It is free and easy to do. Takes less
Mm-hmm.
than a second to mash that thing. So go ahead and mash it. And whether it's red, green, yellow, white, whatever it is, just mash it, y'all.
Just
Also, be
mess it.
sure to give me a thumbs up on this video. Let me know you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out on my channel. Also, be sure to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the various couples that are appearing here on 90 Day Hunt for Love, as well as pressing the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And so since we are going live today, I will go ahead and make the announcement. I'm not sure exactly if anyone's going to come into the room today because I know my viewers were not expecting me to go live today, but I will be going live on Thursday night at 8 p.m. from a Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. So please be sure to be there for my Hot Topics and Social Commentary show on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Now let's get into it. I got my main man Dustin back
Yes,
with me. Dustin, how you doing, boo?
I'm doing good. I didn't expect to go live today, but here we are. We figured
Yes.
something else out, and here we are again. So thanks for doing this, even though everything was on vacation. And thanks for the whole entire team for figuring stuff out so we can be live today. So thank you, Jonathan, as well.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that I can, I feel like I have more control over my channel now that I don't have to rely on Jennifer and Tyrone to set things up for me. I've learned how to make links. I've learned how to go live. I've learned how to post the comments, all that good stuff. So
Right.
this is a crash course. This is my first time actually working it by myself. So please bear with me. But we're going to do the best that we can. So on
Yes.
this episode, this is the episode before the season finale, which comes up next week, where the various participants will be choosing their prospective partners for relationship or whatever the case might be. So
Right.
I will have to admit, Dustin, that
I do not
I
like Tiffany.
began
I
right.
will begin with that.
That's
I
exactly
don't
what I
like.
was about to say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care for Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't cared for Jen since the beginning of the series, and I'm starting not to care for Tim either. But we'll get to those various things as we get to them. But let's start out with the fact that Carlo pulls Tiffany to the side to let her know that he has decided to choose to only court Elise and leave Tiffany behind. And Tiffany's reaction, to his face is that she's not affected by it whatsoever. She's like, yeah, whatever, do what you want to do. She doesn't want to come off as being upset about his decision to no longer want to pursue her. And we find out a little bit later on in the episode that this really does affect Carlo and makes him want to actually later on in the episode start pursuing her again. And, we'll get to that part a little bit later in the episode, Dustin. Their whole conversation about what she wants him to do and what he has to do in order to get back into her good graces, which I feel like was a whole bunch of BS. But, anyways, we'll get to that later. But what was your reaction to the fact that Tiffany didn't want to let him know that she was upset, even though we saw in the confessional that she was extremely upset with him telling her this information? What was your
Uh,
reaction?
Tiffany's reaction, I really expected it, to be honest with you. I don't. I didn't really expect her to have anything to say to him, and
Mm.
it just shows me the way that Tiffany handles things. I don't agree with it. I don't. I'm a person personally myself. If I have something to handle, I will handle it myself and handle it with the person that I have the problem with. And I don't hold back, Jonathan. As you know, I do not hold back at all. I say the way I feel and I move on. And that's not Tiffany, and that's okay. But I don't agree with the way she handled things on this episode. I do not.
Yeah, I don't agree with the way that she handled things on this episode either. She was starting to act like a person who was very possessive over Carlo, even though
Hmm.
she literally just went on a date with Jay on the other, like 2 episodes ago. making it clear that she is considering, pursuing other men on the villa. But anyways, I was shocked that she had no reaction to what he said to her. And then when she came onto the confessional and said, I'm devastated. I'm devastated that he's made this decision. And, but she says, I didn't want to show him that because he didn't deserve that. And I get that. That is a little petty, to be honest. That is, quite petty, at least in my opinion. But, it is what it is.
That is very petty, Jonathan. That is very
that's
sorry about that.
That's how Tiffany wants to react to this whole thing. And it's okay.
Sorry, I thought you was on mute, but that's okay. I thought you was on me. I'm sorry about that. I don't agree with what she said. I don't know if you can hear me now, but I was having trouble hearing you, so I apologize about that. I don't agree with what she said today at all. So let's go. Yeah, I don't agree with what Tiffany said. But
all right, cool beans. I think there might be a little bit of a delay here, but hopefully it'll catch up eventually.
Okay. Let me know if I need to come in and come back.
Come back in. Oh no. We don't have to worry about that because I'm working the StreamYard, so I really can't go in and come back out. So let's just keep on going with the video, and hopefully it'll be able to catch up. Typically, it catches up eventually whenever there's any issues or delays or anything of that nature. So we should be good to go. But anyways, that's what happened with Tiffany and Carlo initially. So then we move on to a date between Tim and May. So Tim and May, they're having a date and they're doing some sightseeing with a telescope. Now, Tim is being very joking, acting very jokingly, and, he's being really lighthearted. And, I really do love this. Now, I will have to admit, May did not seem too comfortable during this date, in my opinion. It didn't seem like she was that into it, which, when she said yes to, him asking her out, I did feel like she was saying yes and reaction to a little bit of pity that she might have had for him. And I completely understand that. Like, I would find myself probably doing the same thing just to be nice to someone, just to say, yes, I will go out on a date with you. But they seem to have a little bit of fun. And then May revealed that she does a little bit of like this psychic type of reading. She didn't call it a psychic reading. She called it like an energy reading or something of that nature. And so she was able to not assume, but she was able to pick up rather that Tim was very money oriented, that he's very good with weapons. And she said something about a bow and arrow. And then Tim said that's the first weapon that his father ever bought him was a bow and arrow. So I thought that was very interesting. They seem to have a lot of fun. Tim suggested that they go on another date. And May, once again, was a little bit hesitant to say yes. Like she didn't really want to do it, but she acquiesced to his request anyway. So what was your what was your viewpoint on Tim and May's date? Did you like it? Did you think that there were any sparks flying? What was going on there for you?
Well, I thought maybe I was hoping for the best for it, but the way that it played out for me was I didn't think she was hesitate like that, but that's okay. She did hesitate on that part, and I don't think that would be the best thing for Tim to move forward with her the way she hesitated. But we'll see what happens the rest of the season. Like we said, we're on next week will be the last episode of the season, and we will see how it turns out in the tell-all. I don't know if anybody of these people. I don't think anybody on this season is going to be together with anybody by the time the show is over with. Anyway, that's just my opinion, and that's how I feel today with all these couples so far. And I don't know what happened.
Well, with the way the 90 Day Fiance is set up, I'm sure we will at least from the outside be able to get at least one or two pairings coming out of this whole situation. But whether they will last or not, I'm sure that they're not going to last. That's just my assumption. But anyways, once again, May just seemed to be a little bit uncomfortable with Tim, as though she wasn't really interested in him romantically. But I applaud her for still going out on a date with him, just to give him a try. But anyways, then we have Colt and Courtney. So Colt is out of surgery. He's rehabbing in Cancun, I think it is. I don't know how far Cancun is from the villa where everyone else is, but Courtney's coming over for a date. And so then Colt then reveals to Courtney that he is unemployed, and he also is living in his car. He is technically homeless. Here's my thing about that. I'm unemployed myself, so I understand where he's coming from as far as that is concerned. However, I'm sorry, I just got a phone call. Anyways, however, I lost my train of thought. I appreciate the fact that he didn't keep from her that he was homeless and that he didn't have a job. I appreciate his honesty as far as that is concerned. However, Courtney then said that it seems like those are coming up as red flags for her, and I thought that was that seemed to be a red flag to me as well. But
me as well.
It is what it is. Then they got into his bed, and he said, could he sketch her? And she was like, what do you mean by sketch? He said, literally sketch her. And so he starts sketching. She thinks that he's looking at her boobs, and he's not. He's actually looking at maybe her necklace or something of that nature. I can't remember exactly what he was looking at, but he's doing his thing. Now the drawing looked like a drawing that I would make, because I can't draw worth shit, y'all. I can't draw to save my life. I don't know how to draw. My drawing.
I'm not a good drawer either.
Like when I used to draw in elementary and middle school, I used to just make nothing but stick figures. That's all I could do. And then when I used to start making bodies, they were just very round shaped, and it was a big thing. But Colt and Courtney do end up kissing. However, I don't necessarily know if there were sparks flying. Like, it was a little bit awkward, but Colt is very awkward all by himself, and Courtney can seem awkward as well on her own. So it doesn't surprise me that it seemed to be awkward between the two of them. But that leads me to believe that I don't know whether she really has true feelings for Colt, or if she's just being really nice to him because she feels sorry for the fact that he got injured. Dustin, what were your thoughts on their whole date and what went on with the two of them, Courtney and Colt?
I don't think it's going to end up the best. I don't think she's going to. I don't know. I don't want her to be hurt, Courtney. I don't want her to be, because I have seen Colt on the other side as well, because Colt's been on 90 Day Fiance for a while now, and I think that. I see a lot of red flags when he's talking about being homeless and stuff like that. I hope things get better for him, but I really do. But I also don't want Courtney to get herself hurt by she's trying to be there for him, but I think there's a certain level of that as well. So this is how I feel about Colt, and I hope that Courtney and Colt can stay together, and be together for the long haul. But I don't want Courtney to protect herself as well.
Absolutely. Sorry, y'all. I'm texting my sister back. She just called me. So there we go. Anyways, so I'm not exactly sure if this is, I don't know what's going on with Courtney and Colt, but we see a little bit. We can go ahead and discuss this a little bit later on in the episode when they're having this they call it a house party. I don't know why they call it a house party when they weren't in a house. They were in the the bar area, where they've had other get-togethers and gatherings and previously in this season. But anyways, Courtney and Usman, they end up talking, and Courtney she sort of kind of says that she's only going to pursue Colt. I don't know how what she said to him made him feel as though she was like kind of breaking up with him. And Courtney even said to one of the other girls there that it seemed like she felt like she was breaking up with Usman, and Usman was clearly affected by it. Now, it started to look like he was starting to cry, but it seems like he was just rubbing his eyes together. And a lot of times when people rub their eyes together, it means that they're having trouble with crying when they actually do want to cry. So that tells me that the crying is not genuine. But then, all we saw was Usman with his head in his hands. And, he just seemed to be truly affected by the fact that, Courtney seems not to want to pursue him anymore while they're here. I do feel bad for Usman because, I think he is a nice guy. However, I do think that he does try a little bit too hard. I don't know if he's just doing that for the show or if that's the way that he usually does court women. But I feel bad for him because, it seems as though he is truly into courting. Now, whether that's true or not, nobody knows but Usman. But I did feel bad for Usman in that moment. Dustin, what was your reaction when you saw Courtney tell Usman that she's going to pursue Colt from here on out?
I was really surprised, to be honest, because I thought maybe she would be with Usman for the rest of this season, or at least for the rest of this series. I don't know about the long haul thing, but I was thinking about she would be at least with Usman for the rest of the season. So for her to say that she's going to be with Colt, that was a very shocking thing to hear from Courtney. But I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with all these couples, so we're going to have to wait and see.
Absolutely, absolutely. So who do we have next? Courtney and Colt. All right, and so let's just move on to this whole. First, we also have to discuss this whole sex questions game that they're playing with all the participants there. They're asking different questions concerning sex, and they're trying to understand what people are comfortable with. The main question that was my favorite question was, what would be your reaction? They have these paddles, these green, one side is green and the other side is red. So if it's green, they agree with it. If it's red, then they don't agree with those things. And my favorite question in this exercise was, what would be your reaction to your partner telling you that they have same-sex attractions? And it was literally split down the middle. One side of the group was okay with it. The other side of the group was not okay with it. And of course, I thought this was going to allow Chantel to have her moment with everyone, but she ended up having her moment just with Tim by himself, which I enjoyed that much better than her just revealing it to everyone at the same time. But it is what it is. But it was I thought that game was interesting, and also they started talking about favorite sex position. Usman did a demonstration of how he does like the motorbike thing. And, that was basically just doggy style. And then, Cole demonstrated on Tim, of all people, one of his favorite sexual positions. And, I don't know, I don't want to try to describe it. But anyways, I thought that game was decent. But anyways, moving on to this whole house party that all the participants are having. And during this house party, well, actually, no, we have to get back to Tiffany and Carlo. So Carlo approaches Tiffany again and tells her that he feels like he made a mistake with having sex with Elise. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Elise and Carlo did have sex multiple times. She said in the previous episode that he effed her good. So yes, they had sex multiple times. And so he didn't initially tell tell Tiffany that it was multiple times, but she ended up finding out a little bit later when her and Elise had the conversation. But Tiffany, Carlo tells Tiffany that he does still want to pursue her, that he feels like he doesn't want to be without her. he doesn't want to be without her, and he wants to continue to pursue her. And Tiffany is like, well, if you want to pursue me, then you have to tell Elise that it's over. I did not like
Mm,
Tiffany giving him this ultimatum. This made me see Tiffany in a bad way. And I don't know if Tiffany had this reaction because we're getting so close to the end, or she really, really, really does want to pursue Carlo, which I can appreciate it if
all
she
right.
really does want to pursue Carlo. But I feel like Elise is getting the shitty end of the stick at the end
Mm,
of the day. And I don't think that that's fair to Elise. So Dustin, what was
no.
your reaction to Tiffany giving Carlo this ultimatum that if they're going to be together, then he has to get rid of Elise. What was your reaction to that?
Well, for one, I don't like ultimatums. I do not like ultimatums, Jonathan. I don't like to be put in the middle of it. I don't like to be put in the middle of things that don't include. So I don't like ultimatums in general. So for Tiffany to give him an ultimatum, I did not like that. You know, yes, you guys are have to go to your separate ways, but you could have told him a different way. Uh, and you could have told him how you feel a different way, but to give him an ultimatum like that, Tiffany, it really shows to me how you really are on camera and in real life. I don't agree with what she did this whole episode, so that's just my opinion on that part.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that, Dustin.
Mhm.
So then Carlo approaches Elise in her room, and he tells her that it was a mistake him having sex with her multiple times, and Tiffany, and he tells her that Tiffany has been talking bad about her, calling her a slut, saying that she's trash and all this stuff, which I don't remember Tiffany saying all of that. I remember Carlos saying some of those things when he was talking to Tiffany about Elise, but I don't remember Tiffany saying all of that. Now, she wasn't speaking nicely about her, especially in her confessional. She was saying that she was backstabbing her, that she should have told Tiffany that she wanted to do something with Carlo before she actually did something. Which my thing is, everyone is fair game in this type of setting. Everyone is fair
Yeah,
game. There are no commitments. There are no actual real relationships. There is no one who is actually committing to another person. And so, with everyone being fair game, if I get on something, a little bit better than you before you have a chance to, don't be mad at me. Just charge it to the game. So,
yeah.
felt so bad for Elise. And she even started crying, which I saw that was truly genuine from Elise when she started crying after he
Hmm.
told her that he was going to choose Tiffany over her. So, Dustin, what was your reaction to Carlo telling Elise that he didn't want to pursue her anymore?
Uh, I I felt bad for Elise. I really did because I knew Elise wanted to be with him for the long haul. So, uh, we're gonna see that part play out at the tail end. I think we're gonna see that part play out. But I honestly, I feel terrible for Elise because I think that he should. I think that he should have did it a different way. But I feel terrible for Elise because I think that Elise is gonna have a hard time finding somebody else. Because now she's gonna have it in the back of her mind. The way she was treated by him, and I think that she deserves better. I think she deserves better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel so bad for Elise in this moment. But anyway, so then we get to this whole house party thing. Now we're finally getting to the house party. This is going on a little bit long, but we're finally getting to the house party. And so Elise does confront Tiffany about what's going on. And Elise says that she apologizes to Tiffany because she's being called all these names, which I did not appreciate everyone jumping on Elise's back trying to put a label of bad guy on her. But I think that's because I think everyone kind of likes Tiffany, and I think Tiffany is sort of kind of everyone's favorite there. And I think that's
Right.
the reason why Tim kind of spoke up for her, which I did not like him calling Elisa a liar, saying that she's starting stuff like Tim, like you're barely a participant here with everyone else. You've only been on one date, sir. Calm down a little bit. Like
I
I
don't
did
think
not like that
I
move
don't
from
think I don't think Tim should be even on the show. To be honest with you, Jonathan, I don't. I haven't seen a lot from Tim this season. I don't know why he's there, but I'm not a big fan of Tim myself, and I think that hopefully we don't see him back next season. Mm.
Right. Yeah. Well, my opinion on Tim is kind of like in the air a little bit. I really don't know how to feel about him because when he's by himself or when he's on a date and he's not around everyone else, then I do like him and his personality. But when he's around everyone else, he sort of kind of likes to show himself as the big man on campus a little bit, sort of kind of wants to be the center of attention a little, but it is what it is. But anyways, Elise then reveals to Tiffany that they've had sex. She's had sex with Carla multiple times, and Carla did not reveal this information to Tiffany, and Tiffany is immediately upset about that. And, that does not surprise me whatsoever that, Tiffany, I don't know whether it matters per se that they had sex multiple times and he didn't tell her, I mean, if they had sex, they had sex. That's really all you need to know. I don't know why Tiffany's getting mad because he didn't tell her how many times they actually had sex. But once again, this could be just drama for drama's sake on a reality TV show. So who knows what the case is with that. But then we have Cole and Rob who get into it. So Jen says that she saw May coming out of Rob's room right after Jen and Rob's date. And, Jen says that May walked out and looking like she had done something and that she had been tired and that, it looked like she had, done a lot, trying to insinuate that she had sex with Rob. But Jen is just projecting. She is projecting big time. And it's like, I don't know if Jen is just doing this for the sake of drama, or if this is just the type of girl that she is. But she's definitely doing it just for the sake of drama. Because, if you like Rob, then just pursue Rob. And if you trust Rob, but she clearly doesn't trust him because she's insinuating that Rob and May did something. Rob comes over and he says that, they just were playing Uno or dominoes or whatever the case is that they were playing. And, that's just, it was so stupid, and I don't like Jen whatsoever. I really don't want Rob to choose Jen, but Rob, when we saw the preview for the next episode, Rob is going to continue trying to pursue Jen, but Rob is so much better. He deserves better than Jen because, Jen treats men the way that she wants to because she's a gorgeous woman and she's got men wrapped around her finger. At least that's what she thinks. And I feel like Rob is so much better and he can do so much better.
He deserves so much better. He deserves.
To be honest, I'd rather see Rob with Elise. To be honest, I'd much rather see that couple.
I agree.
Than because Elise isn't really about the drama. Now, when the drama comes to Elise, she will handle it, but Elise does not bring up drama. She likes to, kind of keep everything copacetic with everyone who's involved. But anyways, so Dustin, what was your reaction to Jen trying to insinuate that May and Rob had sex? Why is it that you think that she's bringing this up in front of everyone?
Because she wants to she wants to cause drama.
Right.
She's a big drama queen to me. I'm not a big fan of drama, Jonathan. But certain people are drama queens, and she's one of them. I think that she wants to have camera time, and I think she's doing this for the show. But I don't like her at all. You're on a show. You're supposed to be looking for love, and you're supposed to be. I don't think you're doing it right. I don't think you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and I think you're causing more issues for the other people, and I don't like that. Because Rob don't deserve to be treated like that. Jennifer, Jen. So I don't think you deserve to be treated like that, Rob. And I'm always going to support Rob anyway. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Rob does deserve better, Dustin. And then Cole jumps in and he starts this whole altercation with Rob. He steps up a little bit, gets into his face, and Cole thinks he's this big man and he's a better man than Rob. Like, Cole ain't got nothing on Rob as far as anything. I don't want to get into specifics as far as looks or personality or anything of that nature. I'm sure Cole is a cool guy on his own, but in this particular setting, I'm picking Rob over Cole all day long. And I didn't appreciate the fact that he was trying to make Rob out to be such a bad guy when it's actually Jen who's bringing up all this drama when Rob clearly wants to stay away from it all. But anyways, we're coming up to about 30 minutes already. So let's go ahead and get to Chantel and Ashley. So Chantel actually reveals to Tim, before we get to Chantel and Ashley, Chantel actually reveals to Tim her struggle with her sexuality and the fact that she has a friend at home named Ashley who told her she wanted to be with her and kissed her, and she doesn't know how to deal with it, and she doesn't know how her family will react to it, and she grew up Christian, and she doesn't know how her friends are going to react, and she's just nervous about that, which I completely understand, especially as a woman of color or a person of color in general. A lot of times people in the LGBTQIA plus community are not necessarily accepted by loved ones or friends when it is that they come out. But I'm so glad that she had Tim to tell that to. I thought that was a really sweet moment. And that made me like Tim again. But anyways, then Chantel gets on a Zoom call or a Skype call, whatever type of call she got on with Ashley. And Ashley is asking her, how are things going? Have you kissed anyone? Have you held hands with anyone? And, Chantel's like, well, I've been participating here and there, but I just keep thinking about you. And, and she tells Ashley, when I get home, I do want to pursue a relationship with you. And then she asked her, what would sex look like between us? And then Ashley got a little bit shy, which I completely understand, because how do we go from let's try a relationship to how are we going to have sex? But anyways, Ashley seemed like a really, really beautiful woman, a genuinely nice person. So I hope that Chantel is genuine about wanting to pursue Ashley for a relationship, because a lot of times when it comes to women dating one another, especially when you have a lesbian dating someone who identifies as bisexual or just questioning their sexuality, a lot of times, those lesbians who know that they are gay and only attracted to women get their hearts broken because the other person goes back to men or, is just playing games with them. So I'm hoping that Chantel does not play that game with Ashley. But Dustin, what was your reaction to Chantel and Ashley's conversation at the end of the episode?
Well, actually, I felt like this was going to happen, Jonathan. I didn't know when, but I had this feeling that this was going to happen. But honestly, I think that Chantel should have not came to this show, because if she wanted to be with Ashley, that you can be with Ashley and be happy, Chantel. But honestly, I don't know why she came to the show. Because I think that she's more happy with Ashley, and I hope that she is, because I think that she deserves to be happy just like everybody else does. I hope for the best with all of these couples. So I hope for the best for Chantel, and I hope that moving forward she's happy, and all that. That's all that matters to me, is she's happy.
Right, exactly. All right, so that's all we got for this particular review. We made it out to 30 minutes, y'all. I can't believe it. But anyways, Dustin, why don't you go ahead and give the good people your social media contacts real quick? I won't be able to put up your banners yet because I don't know where those are just yet. But if you could tell the people your social media contacts real quick.
My social media contacts are Dustin Butler 700 on Instagram, and my Facebook is Dustin Butler. And I want to thank you for Jonathan for being here today. We've made some changes. Jonathan is doing it by himself, so we get through it together, Jonathan, like we always do. So thank you for always being here as well. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You guys can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is JoJo_Speaks3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is WilliamJonathanLee@gmail.com. My Cash App is $JohnathanLee07. That's $JohnathanLee07. Thank y'all so much for joining us for this review. Make sure you guys join us on Thursday at 8 p.m. for my Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. I would love for you guys to be there to join us. We always have a great time on Thursdays. Also, be sure to check us out next week, same time, same place, same beautiful faces. Until then, we'll say bye for now, y'all. Y'all have a wonderful, safe week, and stay warm, stay cool out there because it's hot outside. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Oh, Lord.